this orb, this imagery just hovering in my living room.
No one else was there. It wasn't a flashlight or passing headlights.
A Metro mom says her home security footage captured her son's ghost.
Man has always been fascinated by the mystery of life after death. Questions of whether a soul or ghost exists might all be conceptual in a way, but new footage of a soul leaving the body when it dies puts up a very strong case against our skepticism. This phenomenon transcends eerie folklore to documented reality, supported by irrefutable visual evidence of spirits leaving bodies, captured in the most chilling footage of life forces departing to the terrifying scenes of spirits exiting the body post-mortem. These visual proofs defy rational explanation. Now let's take a closer look at those spine-tingling moments when the boundary between life and death blurs and a spirit seems to transcend the mortal realm. Angels before departing a soul. Back in 2013, Janice Whitmer caught the tender moment in a Nashville, Tennessee hospital room when her mother was surrounded by ethereal white orbs prior to her passing. The video captures something of a deep spiritual experience that Janice witnessed. She testifies to this with great passion, that anybody seeing such a phenomenon would be convinced that angels exist. The video has moved the hearts of thousands by resonating, especially with nurses and family members who have been witnesses to similar phenomena during loved ones' transitions. Quite a few nurses, accustomed to life and death mysteries, share stories about seeing energy orbs and feeling the presence of souls leaving. Spirit leaves body in accident. A weird incident occurred outside Camp Phibin Songkram, Lurie, Thailand. Reports from the Daily Mail described a hair-raising paranormal incident. It began when a truck and a speeding motorcycle tried to negotiate a sharp turn and collided head-on, with tremendous impact. The bike created a buzz, and the riders were thrown violently off it. Their lives had changed forever. Amidst all that mess, one of the victims lay lifeless on the road. Then, from nowhere, something paranormal appeared. It was an extremely blurred, ill-defined shadow that just materialized over the dead body and stood there while people rushed to help the injured. It was as if the camera had captured something that was beyond human imagination. When posted on YouTube by Sutan Raj Susan on September 17, 2024, the video was viewed an overwhelming 700,000 times within 3 weeks. The authenticity of the video is still in dispute. Critics instantly dismissed the video as a farce, citing poorly applied pixels and contentious special effects. More reliable sources than the Kish Times have yet to confirm the authenticity of the video. Energy light orb leaving. It was in the bedroom of Old Man Joe that a strange occurrence took place. The CCTV footage captured his soul while he slept back in 2018. Nothing disturbed the elderly gentleman as he slept throughout the video. His body relaxed, his mouth open, and suddenly, a small white orb appeared in the room. The popular use associated with the paranormal links orbs with spirits and human essence, especially those of white color. Few people believe that orbs represent souls. It is believed they are symbolic of the energy that supports and envelops the soul, rather than the actual soul. As the video played, these orb-like shapes started to rise out of Joe's body. One seemed to be dominant, and then the others disappeared. And the viewer was left with the question, did his life force come out? What that tape seemed to suggest raised a haunting question, inviting one to dwell deeper into the mystery of human existence and beyond this mortal coil. This chilling footage set the skeleton of the story that Joe told, making us piece together what happened to his consciousness. Vanished from helicopter. On March 31, 2021, in an undetermined area within the United States, a U.S. citizen was critically injured during the catastrophic crash. The situation was so grave that he had to be airlifted to a hospital during takeoff. Recorded footage revealed what multiple eyewitnesses testified to having witnessed, a ghostly entity allegedly exiting the plane. The patient unfortunately died just a few moments after being hurt. Although this story has an unusual setting, it demands close scrutiny. It is hard to come up with conclusive ideas or to draw out comprehensive inferences and implications without further information or exact details. More often than not, such a mysterious occurrence may raise a number of questions or speculations in the mind, but it can easily be explained by optical illusions, light effects, or mental misconceptions. If people want to have a deep understanding of this enigmatic phenomenon, they must study it in detail through research and documented proof. Only then, from the official reports or organized investigations, can we glean some light and information where the general public may see that certain hidden facts might be revealed and a light shined upon the true nature of what really happened. Paranormal body and soul separation. A video capture taken recently has caused intensive reflection on the realm of spirits, mysterious to many people all around the world. It captured an Indian woman lying, apparently dead, in a red dress. Her wide-open eyes made her look like a lifeless body. Then, out came the most surprising thing. A figure structured just exactly like the body of the woman emerged out of her body, making it a spine-tingling moment, something no human should witness, adding mystery to it. This apparition, seemingly her spirit, gets up, looks at her unconscious body, and smiles really disturbingly at the camera. The video, which was initially posted on Instagram by this meme page called Gantar, raked in 1.4 million views with 86,000 likes in no time. Many people were scared and asked what the situation was. However, it turned out the supposedly haunted scene was actually the product of brilliant editing for a comical effect only, even though unreal. This video has made many rethink the concept of ghosts and spirits and their place within popular culture. Mysterious figure from the morgue. Hospitals often provide the setting for many supernatural stories and other extraordinary happenings, as was the case in a 2014 video set overnight in one of the deserted corridors of an Indian hospital. We have seen one such out-of-the-ordinary occurrence unfolding. The scene opens in complete silence. The sound is mute, with just a few people sleeping on the floor, making it feel very deserted. There is a morgue sitting at the end of the hall in this hospital, which looms to cast a shadow as the video progresses. A dark figure in the shape of a man slowly begins to appear near the entrance to the morgue. The figure stops for a moment, then slowly moves down the hallway toward the two sleepers. His shape grows more defined as he draws closer, but before he reaches them, the figure suddenly speeds past at an incredible speed. It had never stirred the people sleeping, and it did not feel its presence as it disappeared into thin air. Said to be the departing soul of one of the bodies in the morgue, this video leaves one wondering, what if a person were to come into contact with one of these spirits? Stories of spirit sightings or some other such ethereal phenomenon bring about responses that range from fear or discomfort to the feeling of a spiritual presence or heightened awareness. Such encounters are thus based on cultural and personal beliefs when interpreted. Some view these contacts as having spiritual or metaphysical implications, while others view them as being purely psychological. After all, the encounter of a person with a spirit is very subjective and complex. Spirit at intersection. A chilling incident has just unfolded, which is similar to what we discussed earlier. The footage, really confusing from an unknown source, revealed a haunting scene of two vehicles that crashed into each other, culminating in a sad outcome. The video opened with palpable panic as red ambulances rushed to assist the injured parties. One of the drivers lay scattered among the wreckages, visibly injured, and receiving treatment inside an ambulance. Amidst this chaotic scene, a dark, hazy shadow appeared behind one of the ambulances. The shadow was that of a man who went unseen by any person present there. This creepy factor was an added dimension to what was unfolding as the footage became an online sensation. Rumors went around about what the shadow was, although most thought it to be the spirit of the injured driver, so badly beaten and bruised, yet out of his body and close to the ambulance, probably bidding goodbye before he went to the other side. The old man's soul. This is an exciting video where one sees a sighting similar to the ones described. An older man lies on his bed at home. He apparently seems to be sleeping. The video shows complete silence in that room. There is absolutely no movement by the man as the video is about to end, missing a weird moment, the white ball that is leaving the man's body and goes up into the sky. The most astounding fact is that he didn't move a bit when a ball was leaving him. He was flat on his posture. The white balls, so many questions they raise in our minds, driving our interest. What are they? And what is behind all this presence? Though the interpretations might be different, some think that these orbs probably show the very essence of the older man while dying, entering into the spiritual realm from the physical plane. It is through experiences such as this that we are called upon to realize that our realities hold dimensions beyond tangibles and visuals that beckon us to reflect on mysteries lying beyond human comprehension. Subscribers' pick of the day, our subscriber special today. On a foggy highway, the place of a recent crash, there was one lonely guy who walked in among the remains. He came upon the body of the deceased and was shocked to see that from his chest began to rise a shining, ethereal figure. This faint and transparent creature hovered a second before it elegantly rose upward into the night sky, radiant like a star. Each moved with haunted elegance, whispering silent farewells to the world below. Witnesses watched, amazed and forever changed by the surreal experience, as they vanished into the stars, leaving him behind with the drumming of enigmas of existence and what lies beyond. What do you make of these revelations? Do you believe these are actual human souls or some sort of cosmic entity? Share in the comments section. Boy drowns in the river. Tragic situations often lead to some inexplicable occurrences, especially if this is an event that goes on air. This one takes us to Sri Lanka, where one terribly sad incident happened during a boat ride when one little guy fell overboard. The accident drew much publicity and huge audiences along the banks of the river to see the rescue efforts. Deep in the water's murkiness, it was very poor in visibility. Rescue workers searched for the missing youth. Broad searches had already been made for a number of hours. Finally, rescuers did find the body of the boy, who succumbed to his injuries before medical treatment could be administered. An ambulance brought his remains to a hospital, setting a grim scene captured by news cameras. A translucent black figure seems to come out of the vehicle, unseen by most of the onlookers at the scene but quite plainly on the camera films. Is this the spirit of the boy in search of eternal peace, or just a creation of optical illusion by the camera equipment? The answer remains open and is left to each individual viewer's interpretation. The deathbed footage. On October 3rd, 2020, YouTuber Gail uploaded a video showing a very emotional moment in a hospital room. That footage showed the creator's elderly mother lying in a hospital bed, seemingly at the end of her life after enduring a long illness with no hope for recovery, as Gail recorded mysterious white orbs manifesting in the room. These orbs would grow in size as they floated towards the camera, then disappeared, leaving behind them a trail that seemed spooky and was often perceived in two very distinct ways by most of the viewers. Some believed that they represented angels or spiritual guides that help dying persons transition to the spiritual realm at the same time. Paranormal investigators claimed that these were the spirits of the dead, except that they differed from other ghostly apparitions that were captured on similar footage in varying shapes and sizes. She never moved during the recording and was later declared dead. China corpse in hospital. The footage is reportedly doing rounds on the internet since it first surfaced in 2016. This woman lies on the hospital bed, and there is something in the atmosphere surrounding it that makes this video even more disturbing. There is no clear origin for this clip, so there are many other theories as to where it could have come from. Some suggest it originally came from China, while others propose it might have been filmed elsewhere. One thing that everybody seems to agree on is that this is genuinely frightening footage as it plays out. In this regard, some viewers have speculated that this might be the evidence of a soul leaving its physical form, wherein a ghostly apparition begins to materialize from her body. It is noteworthy that, scientifically, there is no evidence regarding the existence of souls. However, man has always felt within himself something more besides his corporal presence. In this grim, foreboding setting of a hospital, we see the space around her almost closing in upon her. From her body, slowly materializing, is some shadowy figure, like her very essence is separating from the physical form. This development becomes particularly unnerving when the shadowy figure fully materializes and takes on its own distinct identity. Without warning, it suddenly disappears through the door at the back of the room. Many skeptics argue that this could simply be an optical illusion created by the low resolution of the footage. According to them, such visual artifacts sometimes create ghostly apparitions. Some even believe that this may be an attempted hoax to take advantage of our worst fears. The truth behind it notwithstanding, millions across the world have been glued to this video since its launch. Amidst all speculations about the authenticity of this video, it has attracted global viewership and generated numerous questions in people's minds on the association between recent technology and human life. Homeless Man's Life End. This enthralling video shocked the world in 2018 by emphasizing our perception of the great divide between the physical and spiritual worlds. Though its origin remained unknown, footage showed an intensive, mysterious story. The scene unfolded on a quiet and deserted street somewhere in Japan. The camera captures the walking man carrying a single bag in a slow gait. The story, however, took a different turn after the moment of silence. The unbelievable thing about it was that the soul of the man seemed to leave his body. His spirit came out for a second, then stopped as if in deep thought while the body lay on the ground. That moment was poignant. What no human eyes were meant to see. The camera capturing the soul gazing back at its earthly vessel, perhaps contemplating what's next. An ascent into realms beyond mortal constraints ensued. The soul bid a free and accepting farewell, and it moved into unseen realms with grace and purpose. Tinged with a bit of melancholy, the video showed us how far apart tangible and intangible things can lie, and brought us to reflect on those mysterious things that happen in life, gone with the wind. It was just another day until the routine of a woman took a very unexpected turn. Sweeping the leaves outdoors of the house, her child was playing nonchalantly alongside her. Neither she nor the child had any idea that their lives were going to get entwined in a really strange and tragic event. As the woman did her sweeping, her husband appeared and played briefly with their child before leaving. Only seconds later, the lady held her chest as if she were in excruciating pain. Her child continued to play, unaware of the situation that had just happened. The expression on her face and the body language indicated that she might be having a heart attack. Despite the pain, she tried dusting it off and resuming the sweeping, but soon held her chest again more strongly than before, startlingly falling to the ground. A dark figure resembling a puff of smoke came out of her body, fluttered and vanished. Her husband came just in time to witness this event, but he was too late in availing of her revival. What was that dark figure that seemed to come out of her body? Was that her soul fleeing from the body, visiting a bit, and then disappearing? The questions remain there, and the mystery remains haunting in the minds of the watchers. Spirit roams. This is a most interesting case captured by a security system in one of the houses during a paranormal investigation. The weirdest scene, visualized via night vision, extends to be incomprehensible to our logical thinking. Visible is a shot of a middle-aged lady sleeping in a large bedroom. She was peacefully sleeping with another person, sleeping on a smaller bed sideways. Everything seems to be very normal, and then suddenly, from what appears to be air, a being of light materializes into view with a floating motion, ethereal in nature. The ethereal being floats around the lady lying on the bigger bed and enters her body very tenderly. Moments later, it leaves her physical body and floats away the same way as it arrived. When she was shown the tape, one could understand that the woman would be shaken by the sight of such a phenomenon. It raises questions associated with the nature of consciousness and the human experience. Viewers have said this might be a case of astral projection, with the soul simply leaving and coming back into the body, perhaps numerous times during the night. Others hold the belief that it may be due to the interaction with another spiritual being or entity. This event just adds another piece of truth to a very complex puzzle of paranormal encounters caught on camera. The more we reflect on these unexplained wonders, the more chances of new exposures to the mysteries of this universe and our place in it will come to the surface. However, at this point, this incident still represents some sort of unknown territory lying outside our conventional perception of reality. A soul's final goodbye. This is a hair-raising story from the Philippines that will give you goosebumps, leaving you with questions in your mind about life and death. On the 21st of November, 2020, what was witnessed was an overwhelming and sad moment. A gentleman was put into a profoundly depressing situation by the predicament of a stray dog in dangerous circumstances. He resolved to save the pup from drowning in a quarry site river and plunged into the water, but its strong current soon overcame him despite his struggle. He was swept away into the deep waters of the river. This sent a shock down the spines of all those who witnessed the scene amidst the chaos. There was a woman present at the site who had the presence of mind to video the unfolding drama. Little did she anticipate that there was an astonishing revelation hidden within her footage. On the other hand, rescue operations were in full swing to save the man. After 2 hours, the search and rescue team was called for the retrieval of the man from the water. All their tiring efforts were for nothing, and the man became the third person to drown in that river. Later, as the woman watched the recording, she was shocked to see a white silhouette hovering above the water. This silhouette took the shape of a human. In other words, it was such a heavenly figure floating above the tumultuous river. She couldn't shake the feeling that she had captured the essence of the drowning man, his soul or spirit, leaving the physical body. The camera caught something no mortal is supposed to see, and the lady vigorously asserted that she did not alter the video in any way. She was convinced that she saw a natural phenomenon, an extraordinary glimpse into the realm of spirits and the afterlife. The more she read into the mystery, the greater the doubt that all of this was mere coincidence. Or was the man's fate really linked with that of the strange apparition? That chance discovery sent this lady on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. Death process captured. Essentially, it is said that each human being within us has another different entity from the body. That entity is usually called the soul or spirit, which the world believes ascends to unknown regions once death breaks the bond between the soul and the body. Irrespective of whether one would choose to believe in this or not, the first video that we are going to share demands your attention because of the sad nature of its content. The video is of a fatal car accident where paramedics and the police do their best to reach the scene to save lives. The camera shot these emergency responders as they desperately try to recover the body of the driver from the wreckage. This process, unknown to the people at the scene, is the first stage of a series of inevitable events when the soul is said to leave the physical body. It catches the chilling moment amidst the urgency of the moment. A translucent, dark figure seemingly comes out of the driver's body and rises into the unknown. I should mention that the driver did not survive this terrible accident. Many people claim that the camera captured the moment when the soul left the body. The statement, though very deep, is open to many interpretations by different readers. As we consider this clip together, we'd love for you to share some of your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Ghostly departure. Half light, exactly 5:05 p.m., deep in one such dense forest, the haunting snapshot of a devastating car accident increased the somber atmosphere on its own. Wreckage surrounded by a swarm of emergency vehicles, ambulances, and police cruisers, all converging with every possible urgency. We could see the scene closer. It was visible that some police officers were standing around the body of the victim. Their facial expressions showed great worry while trying to work on medical help despite all their worthy efforts. But amidst this stark reality, something else drew our attention to the photo. Closer to the photo, a white figure emerged from the victim's form. It was this ghostly apparition that blurred all distinction between tangible and supernatural, thereby evoking deep mystery. That one picture makes us sit and think about life and what possibly lies after death. It urges us to ask some of life's biggest questions. The more we think about this mysterious phenomenon, the more our minds keep answering with a million different possibilities and unanswered questions. The appearance of this radiant figure added more questions than it had answers to. It is upon us to think through what all of this means about the nature of the existing human condition and our place in that grand tapestry that is life. As we continued further in the analysis of this mysterious image, it came across that it was only the tip of an iceberg, just one piece of something much bigger and much more complex. Implications went deeper and reached profound depths, notably regarding our understanding of the world and perception of reality itself. It was so humbling, an encounter that reminds us of those mysterious phenomena existing beyond human intellect, beckoning us toward the unknown and challenging our conventional thinking. It raises questions pertaining to things we thought we understood about life, death, and what happens after that. It is this one image that has gone into our collective unconscious, beckoning us even further on in our quest for answers to the mysteries of existence and unknown realms lying beyond the mortal coil. It thereby stands as a poignant reminder of the expanses of human knowledge, with all the possibilities yet waiting to be discovered in those uncharted territories of mind and spirit. Spirit captured on CCTV. The story of how Robbie's mother filmed her son's spirit on CCTV footage in his room otherwise known as an exciting, if not emotional, delight for the people who do and want to believe there actually are these kinds of spirits that still exist in this world, where their loved ones have already crossed over, is a source of comfort. Most of the time, these serve to be interpreted as visitations, or even some sort of message from Robbie to assure his family. On the other hand, all these would be looked at by skeptics with caution, doubt, and suspicion. Does it really occur? Or is it just an optical, illusory trick within the realms of the CCTV camera, or some kind of technical fault? Or maybe even of a natural cause whose explanation as paranormal is a case of misunderstanding. However, the interest here is pushed further. Here is where the camera captures something that is beyond understanding for an ordinary human, and where empirical evidence is incapable of explaining. Ultimately, the paranormal is deeply personal and subjective. In the case of Robbie's mother and sister, this experience would hold vast personal significance, either for closure or in its poignancy, regardless of how skeptics might view it. It reflects all the varied beliefs and interpretations associated with life, death, and what lies beyond human comprehension, the subject that would probably touch off most heated debates and most discussion among different experts. Interpretation of such phenomena often comes down to personal and cultural filters. Some truly make such phenomena proof that life goes on after death, that an afterlife exists, or even a spiritual world exists, while others think these are the result of natural or psychological causes. The debates over these subjects remain one of the most popular research themes in modern psychology, neuroscience, and philosophy. While the story of Robbie's mother having seen what she believed was her son's spirit on CCTV remains intriguingly sensational and emotionally fraught, it also underlines the complexity and multifaceted nature of human perception and belief systems. It is important to bear in mind an open-minded but critical attitude towards such things, as we will go on to explore and discuss some phenomena and what some people might have said about them, either by scientific knowledge or through personal experiences that have shaped their understanding of the world around them. As we examine these experiences, it's crucial to consider the nuances in individual belief systems and the cultural contexts that shape them. For some, experiences perceived as supernatural offer comfort or a sense of connection to loved ones who have passed on. For others, a rational or scientific explanation helps ground them, preventing undue reliance on potentially misleading perceptions. Studies in neuroscience have shown that our brains are capable of creating vivid illusions, especially in times of intense grief or stress, which can explain many reported supernatural encounters. Through a balanced view, we can appreciate the depth of human experience while remaining mindful of how psychology, culture, and personal experiences shape our interpretations of life and death. The story of how Robbie's mother filmed her son's spirit on CCTV footage in his room concludes our chilling journey into the mysterious world of spirits and the afterlife. From eerie orbs to ghostly apparitions and the soul's final farewell, these recordings challenge our understanding of life and death in ways that are both profound and unsettling. What do you think? Are these glimpses of the afterlife genuine, or are they merely artifacts of our imagination and technology? Share your thoughts and interpretations in the comments below.